Recording in progress.
We get angry also. This is it. Dosa. Then violence of mind. Violence of mind. You can also imagine this is also dosa. Then sometimes we are rude, impolite, right? Wild. This is also called dosa. And depression, anxiety, aversion, annoyance, also fear, worry, grief, sorrow, lamentation, despair, ingratitude, ill will, cruelty, mental suffering. Any kind of mental suffering can be considered as dosa. So that means actually when we have dosa, it will consume our body energy. Also, right? Body power, it consumes all our body power. This is actually negative energy, right? That's why we say here as a akusala, unwholesome mental patterns. So we may have many different types of dosa. Okay, when we step down, we can also find one sort of like a basana lekupama sutta, something like that in Godanikaya. There are somebody, they may have very strong anger, right? That means they are like writing on the rock. You can imagine stone inscription. So they get angry, they keep their anger in their hearts, like a grudge, like a grudge. Then this is the first type. Second type is writing in the sand, like a sandy beach. When the water overflow, all the inscription will disappear. Similarly, there are some people, they get angry, but it can only for sometimes. After sometimes, they can overcome anger. They can overcome dosa. The last type is the best, writing on the water. You can imagine if you write some inscription on the water, after writing all the scripture, time, dosa. They don't keep very long time. So there are many other suttas about dosa. Anyway, so it will be too long to explain for all the mental fetters. Okay, now we should start with the characteristics. The characteristic is selfishness or ferocity. Chantika, right? Selfishness or ferocity. So that means gross mind, polite mind. The function is to spread or to burn up its own base, the mind, soul, and the body. So that means, okay, here which is like a visapana means like it burns our body and mind. So you can imagine we get angry, our body is very heaty, right? We have worry also heaty. Our voice also change, our behavior also change. It's also really, very, very, very terrible. But the manifestation is the persecuting mind and body, welfare of oneself and others. We call dusana. Dusana means like if destroying welfare of ourselves and other people. The primary cause is the ground of annoyance. Actually, we have to explain here the grounds of annoyance. Unfortunately, I didn't write down in this note. Actually, we have to know what is the grounds for annoyance. Also say like a ground of anger or ground of dosa, right? Okay. So there will be three different grounds for annoyance associated with self or with self. That means if somebody had already made harmful for self in the past, it can be ground for annoyance. If somebody is doing or making something harmful for us as now currently, is also ground for annoyance. If somebody will do something harmful for ourselves in the future, it also can be ground for annoyance. So there are three concerning with ourselves, right? Somebody has done something bad for us in the past. Somebody is doing. Somebody will do in the future. With these three causes, there can be anger. We call akata watu. Actually, akata also can be like a grudge. Can be, right? Also hatred or anger or any kind of dosa. And not only that, there are also three different types, different ground for annoyance related to our beloved ones. For example, somebody has done something harmful for our beloved ones in the past, or somebody is doing something harmful for our beloved ones. Then somebody will do something harmful for our beloved ones in the future. So present, past, future. So there it will be ground for annoyance. Then another one is related to our enemies, connected with our enemies. If somebody is happened, or somebody has done for the good of our enemies, then we can have a full mind. This is a ground for annoyance. Somebody is doing for the good of our enemies. This also ground for annoyance. That somebody will do for the welfare of our enemies in the future. This also can be the ground for annoyance. So the last one is called Atthana Kopa. Yeah, okay. When we say Atthana Kopa, Atthana Kopa means unreasonable anger. It's come from our negligence also. It can be many different reasons. The main thing is, Atthana Kopa is, for example, now in PAAUK, very heavy rain. We get angry. Although when we have very heavy rain, also we get angry. When too cold, we get angry. When too hot, we got angry. Then all the things can be considered as Atthana Kopa, unreasonable anger. We cannot do anything. Another one is like you may slip on the way, right? Then we slip and down, you slip and fall down, you get angry, for example. Then this is also our negligence. Yeah, useless. Although we get angry, is useless, right? We call Atthana Kopa. So these are the grounds for annoyance. This is actually primary cause of dosa. There can be many other things. Okay, although we say dosa, there can be, I have already said, it can be like a worry, sorry, limitation, cruelty, many things, right? All the things can be considered as a dosa. So when we have dosa, it's really not good for our health, right? That means we have a traditionally Nyama saying, if you get angry, you look older. So if you look older, you are age, but you are older than your age, right? Then still look, we will look older when we get anger, when we get angry. Not only that, actually, mostly we just say dosa. Then we have a lot of depressions, we look older. We have a lot of worry, we look older. We can understand all the things like that. Well, this is it, dosa, right? Then we can use V. So when we talk about Isa, sometimes maybe they also ask me, what's the difference between Isa and Mana? So the nature of Isa is jealous of superior wealth, superior beauty, or superior, because the better education, or superior residence, superior family, something like that, better family. So if somebody is better than us, we may have envy, Isa. So that means as soon as we have a jealousy, then we are confessing, right? I'm inferior to you, right? So then we are confessing. Although we don't say verbally, mentally, and look inferior to already, confess. So there are many different types of envies or jealousy. So, okay, sometimes like we cannot appreciate somebody's success. In this case, we can say Isa. Sometimes like we look down upon other, right? Although he's a superior, we just try to degrade somebody. This is also the power of Isa, jealousy. Then, so, okay, the main thing is when we see or when we hear somebody say better than us, we cannot stand, we cannot feel easy in our minds. In this case, we can say Isa. This is also the problem, right, in the community. So one more thing, the opposite of Isa is mudita, appreciation or sympathetic joy. Let me, if somebody is successful, oh, we admire him. Oh, let me, we also praise him. We can appreciate him. In this case, is mudita. So Isa is the opposite of mudita. If we are Isa, we cannot appreciate. We cannot have any joyful feeling. So mana also comparing, right? Although when we have mana, we compare. He said, I'm better than. And so now in the case of Isa, also comparison, by comparing. Only in the case of mana, we think we are higher, or we think we are inferior, or we are equal. We have that kind of mind. But here, in the case of Isa, we think we are inferior. We are not as good as, our team is not so strong as other people. At the time we have Isa with two different conditions. Okay, so now the characteristics is being jealous of others' success. Prasamadina usuyana. So let me be jealous of other people's success or achievement. The function is being dissatisfied with other success. Tatewa and ability. Here, although we say dissatisfied because we're not happy. When seeing or hearing somebody is successful, then we cannot feel happy. We cannot rejoice. We cannot appreciate. That is it, the function. The manifestation is aversion or averseness towards that. Here, you call vimukha bhava. That means I wanted to see or hear others' success. So we don't want to hear, we don't want to see somebody successful or very high quality. The proximate cause is the other's success. What is somebody? So that means if somebody has very strong achievements higher than us, we can have Isa. Okay, so this is also whenever there is a Isa, there will be DOSA. We feel something unpleasant in our minds, right? So mostly DOSA and Isa will arise together. Whenever Isa arises, there is a DOSA. They will arise together. Okay, now we have to move the next one, Macharia. 10. So when we say Macharia, this is a possessiveness or stinginess. So actually, there are many different types of Macharia. Actually, when we study suttas, we can also find different types of Macharia. For example, we call Avasamachariya. Avasamachariya means I'm willing to share our residence, or our room, or our living place, or living space. This is called Avasamachariya. That kind of thing can happen in the community. especially when we are living in group, it can happen. So another one is unwilling to share donors, especially for bhikkhu. That means I don't wish my disciple to go and see another bhikkhu, right? When I have this kind of mind, this is called kulamachariya. Not only that, I don't wish my friends to see another people, my family to see another people. All these are called kulamachariya. So it will be sometimes the person they are going to see is really very bad, improper. That's why we their disciples to see me, because if they follow, that's why their students see me. So once somebody has this question, also really very bad behavior, right? Very bad attitudes towards their disciples. Another one is to share their gains with the people. We call lavamachariya. So I wanted to share their gains means they may know how to earn money, for example, right? But they don't want to share their money with their friends, associates, companions, or anybody. This is called lavamachariya. So we have another one is like a vanamachariya. The winner can have two meanings. It can be beauty, it also can be fame. So, for example, if we don't want to see somebody beautiful, this is called vanamachariya. Then another one is like a fame, right? We don't want to see or hear somebody say famous. We try to defame, right? In this case, it can be considered as vanamachariya. So the main thing is all the good things should come to me, should not go to other people. When we have this kind of mind, this is called machariya. Everybody expects good quality, good things. So we must accept everybody can achieve good qualities, good things. If we want to see somebody achieving good things, if we just think, oh, all the good things should come to me, right? We have this kind of mind, that is it, machariya. Another one is DHAMMA-machariya. DHAMMA-machariya means unwilling to share our knowledge, especially Dhamma knowledge. Not only that, actually, sometimes we have many different things we have already learned, we don't want to share with our friends. In this case, this is also called Dhamma-machariya. Any or learning knowledge, if we don't wish to share with our friends, then this is called Dhamma-machariya. But sometimes, okay, although we share with them, they don't understand properly. That's why we hide our identity. We don't want to share with him. In this case, it's not machariya. Right? That means that person cannot understand what we are talking. Okay, the main thing is, this is, the machariya is also actually achievement of oneself. We don't want to possess all the things. We don't wish anybody possess any good quality or good things. This is called machariya. Okay, now the characteristics is hiding one's own success that has been obtained or that can be obtained. So you can imagine, we just hide our success. That means, for example, we may hide our properties in order that they will ask for some donations, right? We hide our belonging. This is also called material. The function is unwilling to share with other. Prehi asadarana. So this is also very clear. Then the manifestation is hesitating or shrinking away from sharing or bitter feeling on seeing receivers. Of course, when we are stingy, we don't wish to see the receiver. We don't wish to be a donor. There's a manifestation. The approximate cause is one's own success, ada sampati. So you can imagine ada sampati, right? Our own success. We hide our own success. We just hide our own belonging, our own properties. So as you have already know, dana and material, these two are enemies. When we have material, no dana. When we do dana, no material. So our mind must be pure from material, stinginess, or possessiveness. We can do dana. So whenever we have possessiveness, it will arise together with dosa. Then there are some questions about it. Well, possessive is like a loba. Why is it become dosa? Of course, we have very strong attachment to our properties. In the very beginning, it's the loba. Gradually, we don't wish to share our property with other people. At the time, we have a lot of worry, anxiety, sorry, right? It's already dosa. Discomfort in our minds because unwillingness to share. That is why material is associated with dosa. So whenever material arises, dosa will arise. This is the natural law of mental factors. Okay, so now we have to move the next one, kukucha, remorse. So when we are going to talk about kukucha, remorse, then we also have to know two different types of remorse. The first one is missing good opportunity, or we can say not doing good things we regret. This is also called kukucha. Sometimes doing bad things we regret. This is also kukucha. So we can say two different things. Not having done good or having done bad. These two can be considered as kukucha. Actually, when we say kukucha, there are many different meanings. But here we just say remorse. For example, we have another definitions of kukucha. For example, winya kukucha. Right? Winya kukucha means like a doubt. We suspect, oh, is it alive or not? This kind of thing is called kukucha. Winya kukucha, right? This is like a doubt, similar to doubt. But here in the case of kukucha here, we just say remorse. After doing something good, after doing something bad, or after not doing something good, it can be considered as kukucha. Okay, now the characteristics is a subsequent regret. Pachanutapa. Actually, pacha means later. Anutapa means feeling something heaty in our mind. So then that's why we say regret, subsequent regret. The function is to sorrow about good actions one has not done and bad actions one has already done. I have already talked about it. Kata kata nusotana. Kata means have done. Akata means not have done. Has not done, right? This is called kata kata. Nusotana means regrets or worry. Manifestation is remorse. Vibhidisara. We may remember we may recall bad things we have done. That's why, you know, sometimes people, when somebody reports something, just come in their minds, and so remind them, right? But I didn't recommend Loba no sati or Dosa no sati. It's Agustala, right? What I just recommend to do Sila no sati, recollection of morality, Saga no sati, recollection of generosity. We can recall all these things. If we recall only bad things, it is it, Kukucha, removes. Then the prosemic cause is good action that has been that has not been done, and bad action that has been done, right? So this is the prosemic cause. So in the case of Kukucha, actually we must not recall all the bad things we have done, right? One more thing here. Whenever Kukucha arrives, it also arrives together with Dosa. So here we have already talked about 4 mental factors: Dosa, anger or hatred. I have already talked about Dosa, right? Isa, jealousy or envy. Lamatriya, possessiveness or stinginess. Now, Kukucha, remorse or regrets. These 4 are called Dosa group. So Dosa, whenever Dosa can arise alone without Isa arise, it will arise together. When Matriya arise, it will arise together with Dosa. When Kukucha arise, it will arise together with Dosa. These 4 are called Dosa group. So when we talk about associated consciousness, they were associated with two hatred-rooted consciousnesses. So far explain Loba group, Loba. We also have Ditti and Mana, 3 is called Loba group. Now we have 4 metaphadas and Dosa group. They are Dosa, Isa, Matriya, Kukucha, altogether 4. So now we have to continue the remaining 3. So remaining 3 is called Tina and Metta. Okay, they are sloths and Tina. So the nature of Tina is like a sluggishness or laziness, or maybe unwilling or unreadiness. Sometimes our mind is not ready yet to do something, like a laziness, right? Hesitation or laziness. This is the nature of Tina. Then, like a lazy man, if somebody is lazy, he will don't wish to do anything, right? So like a lazy man. Then we also have some simile about it. They mention it's like a lotus leaf, a lotus touched by the sunlight. So you can imagine when a lotus is touched by sunlight, it will wither, right? It will wither. Similarly, mind is not very active. Wither. In this case, we can understand as Tina. Okay. So now here the characteristics is lack of driving power or inactiveness. Here I mentioned Anusaha. Actually, when we say Anusaha means no efforts. Utsaha is actually effort. If the Thai people will understand this body words, because the Thai language Utsaha is also the exercise is equal to effort, right? In English. So it's similar to Vidya. The Thai people know Utsaha. Yeah. Anusaha, no Utsaha. No Utsaha means no efforts, like a laziness. The prosmic
Recording
cause
in
is unwise
progress.
attention. This is a very common prosmic cause for all the unwholesome mental factors. So this is, we call Tina, right? Okay, the next one is Meta. Meta is, we call torpor. So the nature of Meta is also like a dull or sleepy. So we have one simile. It's like a lotus flower touched by the fire. Okay, previous one is Tina is a lotus flower touched by the sunlight. You put that right. Now here, touched by the fire is stronger. So it's like a sick man, the one who is very seriously sick, cannot be active, like a no power, powerless to walk. So similarly, the Meta also makes your mind weaker, make your mind down, right? Dull, also sleepy. Then another thing is, we have to know these two sloth and torpor, Tina Meta, will arise together. We cannot be, these two cannot be separated. They will arise together. So sometimes we have drowsiness, right? This means Meta. Sometimes we are lazy at the time, Tina, previous one. So sometimes you may know about your own drowsiness, right? The causes of drowsiness, for example, like because of foods, because of weather, there can be many other, because of health, there can be many drowsiness, many different reasons of drowsiness. So anyway, when we have drowsiness, then it can be associated with any of loba. It also can be any of dosa. When they say, right? Tina Meta, sloth and torpor. Also, it also can be associated with moha, Tina Meta. Sorry. Okay. Anyway, okay. Tina Meta. We should talk about Tina Meta. Okay. So we should not talk about moha. Okay. Just talk about loba and dosa, right? So when we have Tina Meta, loba is also not very active. Dosa also not very active. Not very active dosa, right? Moha is naturally not very active already. Okay, anyway, then there's some question about an arhat. When arhat fall asleep, is it Tina Meta? There's also the question. Actually, arhat may not have Tina Meta. They don't have drowsiness. So when they fall asleep, it's purely bhavanka mind state. That's why they don't have Tina Meta. Like Buddha, they don't have Tina Meta. Another one, sometimes on the Tina Meta, they always have dream, right? Dreaming. Arhat don't have Tina Meta, that's why they don't have dream. So in Myanmar, we have very well-known Sayadaw, also for the resident bhikkhus. That Sayadaw is very sincere. He thinks that he was an arhat. Also, he was also a Pali teacher. One day, when he was teaching something about Majjhima Nikaya, he can find some passage about arhat and a dream. They mention arhat does not have any dream. And his disciple frequently heard from his teacher. For example, the one who the teacher, he thought himself as arhat. From time to time, he also talk about his dream. Then his student asks after learning this lesson, say, teacher, which one's the truth? Arhat does not have any dream. He mentioned in the text. Or Arhat also say he has dream. Which one should I believe? Then the teacher say, if the books say, believe the books, believe the textbooks. It's really sincere. He knew that he was not Arhat yet. So that means when we learn Tipitaka, we can find Arhat does not have any chinamita, any dream, any sleepiness. Okay, they will fall asleep with Gonga mind states. Okay, now we should continue talking about characteristics. Characteristics is unreadiness, akamanyata. That means not readiness. Then look at the unreadiness, right? The function is to smoother the things, door, and objects. So here we call onhana. Right? That means things, door, and objects. The manifestation is laziness, and linada, or slowness to take objects. So when chinamida arrives, it will be a little slow. The prosmic cause is our attention. This is very common prosmic cause. Okay, so this chinamida can associate with all the wholesome metaphysics, like prompted. Okay. Oh, sorry. Unprompt. Okay. Unprompt. Sorry. Prompted. Sure. Prompted. Wholesome metaphysics. Okay. So now the last one among wholesome metaphysics, skepticism, vijikicha. So we have many different types of doubts. So not all the doubts are called vijikicha. When we say vijikicha, for example, sometimes we have doubt about day and night, right? We don't remember Saturday, Sunday, Monday. We get confused. Though we don't remember the date or the day or the appointment. When we have talked about all the things, this is not vijikicha. When we talk about doubts, and we talk about the quality of the Buddha and so forth, it's about the Dhamma, the practice. This one can be considered as a vijikicha. Okay, so now, okay, I should introduce a little bit more about doubts, because when we study something about the doubts, for example, in later we have to study like Kanka Visuddhi. Just different doubt about the present altogether, 16 types of doubts. Later we have to explain all these things. So when we study suttas, we can also find many other types of doubts, especially like Sattari Kankati in Pali. Sattari Kankati means doubt about the Buddha's attributes or the quality of the Buddha. Then also we also have like a Dhamme Kankati, doubt about the attributes of the Dhamma, Dhamma's quality. Also Sangha Kankati, doubt about the attributes of Sangha or Sangha's quality. Then Sikhaya Kankati, doubt about the 3 trainings. So then we have doubt about the training of morality, training of concentration, wisdom. Sometimes we have doubt about the benefits, right? When we do, right? When we practice sila, is it really beautifying our body and mind? When we practice samatha, can we beautify our mind? Or when we practice vipassana, can we attain nibbana? When we have that kind of doubt. This is called Sikaya Kankati. Another one is Pupande Kankati, doubt about existences. Then similarly, Aparante Kankati, doubt about future existences. So that means doubt about our future lives. Ubanda Brande Kankati, doubt about both past existences and future existences. So then we will doubt about dependent origination. These are also called doubts according to suttas. So when we among all the types of doubts, we have the first four: doubt about the Buddha's quality, Dhamma's quality, Sangha's quality, and three trainings. These four are called Chito Kila, arrow in the mind. When we have arrow in the mind, we have to pull out. If we don't pull out, it will be very harmful. We also have another simile about doubt or vicikiccha. It's like standing on a junction. We don't know where to go. This is the meaning of skepticism. In Bali, we call vicikiccha. Okay, now we should introduce the characteristics. The characteristic is a doubt about three trainings, etc. I always say all the doubts. The function is to waver, kampana. That means mind is shaken. Indecision. Manifestation is indecisiveness, anicharya, or taking various sides. And it comes up. Then we may take many different angles after we get confused, right? So that's why I also recommend many of new meditators, when you are practicing anapanasati, don't analyze too much. If you analyze too much, you will get confused. The more you analyze, the more you get confused, the more you have doubts. So concept is not good objects to analyze or investigate. Okay, now the proximate cause is our attention. It's very common. Okay, so now we have already talked about vicikiccha, all the unwholesome mental factors. So last week we have already explained 4 different types of unwholesome mental factors. This week we have already explained. Okay, here I mentioned. Okay, 5. Okay, move this one. Okay, move. So now we have to start with previous one. 5 doubt about the past, right? Sorry, 6 doubt about the present. Previous one. We should start with previous one. Okay. Previous one, past, okay. 5 doubts about the past, right? So was I am in the past? Wasn't I in the past? What was I in the past? Okay, the first 3 is easier. The third one, what was I in the past? So that means whether I have been born as a human being, an animal, that kind of thing is called, what was I in the past? The 4, how was I in the past? That means how is my appearance? Is it tall, long, short, any appearance? But having become whom? Who was I in the past? That means before that past lives, what's second past lives? We have doubt about all these things. Then we have doubt about the future. The next 5. The next one. The next one. Okay, 5 doubts about the future. Where I be in the future, where I not be in the future, that's very clear already. Now, where I be in the future, that means who I will be, like an animal, a human being, a deva, a Brahma, anybody. How will be in the future? This is like appearance, long, short, or anybody, anything like that. Then having become whom I will be in the future. Will I be in the future? Who will I be in the future? That means what will be my second future lives? Okay, now what about present? Let's talk about the present. The next one. Present, okay? So there am I. Sometimes we also have talk about our ada, right? We have ada, we have talk about our ada, self or soul, right? That means, am I an ada? Or am I not? That means, am I not an ada, self or soul? What am I? So what kind of ada I have? Right? How am I? So what the shape of ada? What's the appearance of ada? We have talked about our ada, right? But from where did this being come? So that means, so before this life, what is it? Past lives? Now, where will it go? Where my ada will go in the future? So we have this kind of doubts about present. Altogether, 16 types of doubts. Later, we have to explain in the purifications of overcoming doubts again. Okay, now Jidok Kila also mentioned. Okay, here there are 8 types of doubts according to Dhamma Sangani. Sattari Kankati, doubt about Buddha's attributes. I have already explained that one. Dhamme Kankati, doubt about the attributes of Dhamma. 3. Sangye Kankati, doubt about the attributes of Noble Sangha. Then 4. Doubt about Sikkaya Kankati, doubt about the 3 trainings. Then these 4 are called Tidokila. Okay, 5. Ubande Kankati, doubt about by existences. Then 6. Aparande Kankati, 6. Okay, Aparande Kankati, doubt about future existences. 7. Doubt Ubanda Aparande Kankati, doubt about both past existences and future existences. 8. Patitasmo Bane Kankati, doubt about divine origination. So these are, I already mentioned all these things, right? But the first 4 are called, including in Chidokila Sutta, which is called on arrow in the mind. Majjhima Nikaya 16, Anguttara Nikaya 5, 145. That means book of 5, page 45. So these are about the doubts. Altogether, we have already explained all types of unwholesome mental factors so far. So in our daily life, we have to check what kind of unwholesome minds arise mostly. If we can check properly, we can overcome. We have to find the solution to overcome the defilements. So whenever we study something about the defilements, kilesa, or asava, mental intoxicants, or orga, floods, we can also remember unwholesome mental factors. Not only that, like hindrances, in Bali, nivarana. Also, we have like a samyojana factors. We have to remember unwholesome mental factors. So the main thing is, we human beings have both good and bad. If unwholesome mental factor arise most of the time, we are a bad person. If wholesome mental factor arise most of the time, we are a good person. All the good and bad come from our daily life, our speech, our actions, and our thoughts, right? So all these things will be very helpful for training minds. Okay, even very subtle unwholesome thoughts can hinder our improvement. I have said many times about Venerable Anuruddha and Venerable Sariputta, right? They are mentioned. Venerable Anuruddha says, I have a very strong, very bright light. I also have divine power. I'm also diligent, but I cannot achieve higher attainment. Why has happened? He asked this question to Venerable Sariputta. Venerable Sariputta explained a very simple way. You think that you have very strong light, very bright light, very strong psychic power. There's a mana, pride. Remove it. You think that you are diligent, right? You are diligent. That's the kukuja, the udaja, restlessness. Remove it. then you think that you haven't attained any higher attainment. Why? This is a kukucha. Remove it. Then you can change. So Venerable Anuruddha tried, as Venerable Sariputta recommended, he could achieve higher attainment. So that means even very minor defilements or hindrance can be big obstacles to improve, big obstruction to improve. That's why we should know all the impure mental fetters. So next week we will continue for some mental fetters, right? Anyway, impurity of minds will produce impure bodily actions, impure body actions. When our minds are pure, we may have pure bodily actions, pure body actions. So mind is the forerunner. Mind is the origin. All the actions come, all the actions originated from mind. So we should purify our minds after knowing all the unwholesome mental fetters. We should try to remove letter by letter. We should find the ways to overcome impurity of the mind. Gradually, we become pure, we will have become better. Okay? May you all be able to practice the 3 trainings, and may you all be able to purify your mind, and may you all be able to realize final cessation and not suffering. Okay?
Sadhu, Sadhu. Thank you for Sada teaching. We are now moving into the Q&A session. Okay, so we are now reading a question sent by the participant, and then we will then open the question on the floor. Okay, now question number 1. Dear Sadhu, why family love is lobha? If parents are doing hard for the good of the children, why it is unwholesome?
How much time you have to be worried about your children? This is the main point, right? Okay. Sometimes it can be metta. We have metta, we have like a kind of metta, it's called metta. Sometimes it's lobha. Mostly family love is mostly lobha. If you are very far from your family, you will remember. And
Recording in progress.
Okay. Pravidan, can you move the slide to question 2? Okay. Dear question 2, please settle. Pravidan, can you move to question 2?
Question 2 now.
Okay. Dear Shadow, please Shadow advise again. What is meant by prompted and unprompted? Where is the result? More action, kusala and kusala with prompted or unprompted? First question.
Okay. Actually, when you say prompted, when it's sometimes like a woman or man is not very active. Okay, in the case of agusala, like a loba, for example, right? In the very beginning, we don't have loba. Okay, I have a God's. Okay, here I have a God's airport. Okay, for example. So, okay, I don't know the value of the airports. I don't have that much attachment. Somebody came and told me, "Oh, Bandit, this one very expensive, very good quality," right? So at the time, I will have loba, right? In this case, we can say project loba. So sometimes naturally, I know the value. I myself agree already. I have loba already. In this case, I'm project. Okay. So similarly, dosa. Sometimes because why you are so patient? You should reply something. You should respond something, right? Then we get angry. So this is about agusala. In the case of kusala also, sometimes our minds are not ready. Oh, why don't you do like this? This is a really very good example, meditation. Okay, why don't you do meditation is really very good. When you can calm down your mind, you can experience like this. Somebody encourage you and you meditate. It's a practice. Sometimes you yourself willingly meditate. In this case, I'm practice. Okay. So it depends on the conditions we have. We may have different types of branded or unbranded. It's unbranded. Okay, it's unbranded.
Okay.
That was stronger. Okay,
Number two, please advise how people to overcome loba, dosa, moha, mana, isya in daily life before attaining arahantship. Thank you, Sayadaw.
Okay. It will take a very long time, right? For example, loba. It depends on the properties we like or we love. Then, for example, living things, we can do asubha meditations to overcome attachment to living things. So for non-living things, like 4 elements, that we may have less, we can overcome attachment to non-living things. What about dosa? Actually, like 4 sublime guidance, like metta, karuna, mudita, ubekha. Actually, we have already explained 11 ways of overcoming dosa in Visuddhimagga, right? In the SYD chapter. Then Samatha chapter, right? Then what about like a moha? Actually, it's a little bit difficult for moha. What about moha? It depends on what kind of moha you have, right? You can learn more. For example, when you have a lot of doubts, learn more. If you can learn thoroughly, you may have clear understanding, clear comprehension, it will be better. What about like a mana, right? So actually, when we have mana, we think that we are superior or inferior, right? If we think we are superior, we have to understand there are many people superior to us. If we think we are inferior, there are many people inferior to us, right? So we have to try to review most of the time. Another one is that we also have to review the disadvantages of mana. If we have very strong mana, we cannot improve anymore. We don't want to listen to anybody, right? This is mana. So for our Isa, we can say this is a jealousy, right? Envy. This is actually opposite of that one is like a mudita. You know, when we have more mudita mind, we can overcome it. So it depends on the condition. There are many different ways to overcome all this into our mind or outside mental factors. Okay. Next one. Okay.
Question 3. Yes.
Okay. We call okay. This is called yathavamana. Yathavamana means this will accept the truth. Okay. For example, okay, you may have some perceptions of practice. Okay, you believe, okay, I can correct, not in going with Buddha's teaching. But somebody, if you don't want to accept, this is called ayatawa mana, the improper manner. Although it's a truth, you don't want to accept, right? So in the case of anagami, they may accept the instructions, the guidance, because this is the truth teaching. It's proper teaching. So that means anagami may have yatawa mana. That means although they have mana, they will accept the truth. Okay? There are many people, whether true or untrue, they are holding their own idea. This is called ayatawa mana. Okay? And this one?
尊敬的西亚多老师辛苦了，翻译和各位护持也很辛苦，感恩敬佩，受益匪浅。按老师的指导，重回色业处和明业处，在幻灭随观智到舍智，一路反复修，发现一直喜欢看是明运，色业处较弱虚补，五根里心也不足，自己能成熟观智。 能亲见涅槃吗？有疑。如此状况，请问老师有何具体教诲？谢谢老师。沙都沙都沙都。
Actually, there are many ways of practice for Pankanyana too, or the Sankalpakanyana, right? Okay. So when knowledge become very mature, but in the very beginning, you have to do all the nama rupas, right? It does not come from like or dislike. Whether you like or dislike, you have to do all the nama rupas in the very beginning, gradually, right? When you are practicing very well, then later, which one is obvious for you? Well, the nama is obvious, okay, just do nama. Rupa is obvious, just do rupa. This is nama rupa method, right? Sometimes 5 again method. Rupa kanda, Virana kanda, Sanya kanda. So in the very beginning, you have to do all the 5. All the 5, one by one after another. Or we can also do all 5 together. After that, you can also choose one of the aggregates, clear as one. It doesn't mean like or dislike, okay? Choose clear as one. Similarly, internal, external, in the very beginning, you have to do both. Gradually, when internal knowledge becomes very mature, you have to choose internal or external, clear or one. So this is for advanced meditator, right? There are many other ways of approach. For example, in the Sankalpakanyana, it mentioned many things about Anicca Dukkha Anatta, many different, especially about anatta. It talk about many different types of anatta mentioned. So if you can do all the methods clearly, it will be easier. Okay. For example, when we talk about the Sankalpakanyana, okay, they are mentioned 42 toes. We have 42, right, in Samasananyana. But they mentioned 42 toes. We got Dvasaddalisa Kara. It mentioned like this. So you have to do 5 brigade methods. All the things. So As you have learned Bodhidharma in Samasana, you can also repeat in the Sankarupaka, right? Many ways. There are many different ways to broach. For example, like Pati-Vipassana, Nama is also, Rupa is also anicca, inside knowledge is also anicca, something like that. Pati-Vipassana. Also, with Anubhata Vipassana, descending all the mental fetters one by one in the mental process. Also, descending all Rupas in every single Kalapas one by one. Contemplated that as anicca dukkha anatta, right? There are many ways to practice. So that means when inside knowledge become mature and strong enough, you attain path of fruition knowledge. Okay? One more thing I will remind you. Inside knowledge, meditation objects is not come from like or dislike. Okay? It just comes from clear or unclear. Okay?
Question 5. Dear Sayadaw, sometimes after we did something, we may feel regret about it. Are regret considered as remorse?
That is a very good question. After doing something wrong, when we regret, this is kukucha, sure. So not only that, after missing some good opportunity, you may regret, this is also called kukucha, right? Okay, this one.
Question 6. Dear Sayadaw, would having unwholesome doubt cause a person to reborn in 4 awful states? If a person has not learned Buddha's teaching or has no faith in the Triple Gem, he may have those 16 types of doubt Sayadaw mentioned today. Hence, he may be having many unwholesome mental factors.
We talk about karma, right? So when we talk about karma, we also have to think about, like for example, Moha, right? Udacha, for example, right? It cannot produce a new rebirth. Udacha is very clear, right? It's not so strong enough, so it cannot be reborn in the 4 states. So for about doubts, also we have to consider. Okay, let me check. I cannot find so far. Okay. It's very clear, right? Udacha is not powerful enough to produce in the 4 states. But what about the doubts? It's not very sure. Okay. Maybe after reading, okay, I will confirm, right? Okay. Move to the next one.
尊敬的夏朵，鬼一定是无因生吗？翁高鬼是空居的，属于天界的鬼吗？天人也被称为夜叉，夜叉是6道中什么种类？鬼会是夜叉吗？阎魔王是亚马天天子吗？沙都。
这是怎样的报道？是。No, they're not the same. They are different, right? Okay, like for like a kumbhanda or that kind of things, right? It can be like a lower ranks deva, like a true Maharajaka, right? Okay. So the previous question, right? Only Odaja cannot produce the result in the full state, but Vicikicca can produce the result in the full state. Okay. Previous question. Okay. So one more thing about Vicikicca, right? If you have doubts, try to confirm your knowledge. And this one.
So we do not have any more questions coming in.
Okay. Yes,
Recording in progress. Recording in progress.
Sabba Sampati Siddhi